Coping with Tre Tailor, giving you info and advice to help you thrive and survive in life. Because we'll always be coping with something. Coping.
Hey there, and thank you so much for joining us for Coping. I'm Tre Tailor, and today we're giving you info and advice to help you thrive and survive in life because we will always be coping with something. Today, we're coping with selling your home and what you can do to make it more sellable. Realtor and decorator Angela Nash joins us to tell us exactly what to do to make our home sellable. Angela, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm
Absolutely.
excited.
Well, I'm excited too because this is such a big deal right now. You know, people
Mhm.
buying and selling their home, and we need to know what to do, girl. I'm sitting here with a house, although I'm not selling. It's every room
Yeah.
has a different color. I'm sure don't nobody want this to me. So we're gonna come right back with Angela to give us more information. That's coming up next. But first, hey, don't forget to check the bottom of your screen throughout the show. You'll see on the scroll info about COVID tests, vaccinations, community events, plus job listings, financial resources, including scholarships, help with your rent, mortgage, bills, and so much more. All of that will be scrolling at the bottom of the screen throughout the show. So please post and share so we can get the message to the masses. We're streaming on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So please post, share, like, and follow so we can get the message to the masses. I'm Tre Tailor, and you're watching Coping. And today we're coping with making your home more sellable. Angela Nash joins us. She's a realtor and decorator and also an advocate for children. She serves on the Richland School District 2 board. Angela, again, thank you so much for joining us today. We
Thank you
appreciate it.
so much, Trey, for having me.
Absolutely. So listen, first of all, is this a good time to sell?
Oh man, yes, it is. And I'm not just saying that. You hear a lot of times when you ask realtors, and the automatic is it a great time to sell? Yes. Is it a great time to buy? Yes. And that is actually not true all the time. So I'm going to give you the true facts that yes, it is a great time to sell. I think one of the benefits of living in Columbia is that our market is always, for the most part, pretty steady. So
Really?
like before, during like the pandemic, and even right after the pandemic, we were seeing homes stay on the market for like an hour, 2 hours,
Oh
maybe
my
three,
gosh.
if you made it. And we were all lined up outside of homes, as well as having tons of calls for our listings. Now it's slowed down a little bit, but we're looking at more like 15 days on market. 30 days for some homes if you're in a higher price point, 400,000 and up. But for the most part, we're looking at about 15 days. It has started to pick up for spring market, which has been interesting. Where it's like, okay, I go look at that house and it's gone in like a day. So 24
Wow.
hours for some of the homes that are like under 200,000, because our market has changed a little bit. But it is a great time for sellers to buy. It's still a good bit of a seller's market. But I think the difference now is that there are things that you need to do to your home now, that so you can get more for your home.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to ask, since it's such a good time to sell, does it matter what your house looks like? I guess it.
Oh, yes, it does. And I think it's one of those things where I think people got used to during the pandemic. People were just looking to move up or moving to downsize because everybody's working from home. You
Yeah.
realize how small your space is, and you're looking to do all these things. And they just were like, okay, well, I'll just buy no matter the condition. We were seeing,
Wow.
prices over appraisals. We saw waiving appraisals. And so people got used to that. And a lot of times now they're thinking, hey, I can just do the same thing. I don't have to do anything to my home to sell it. And that's just frankly not true. It's not, and it's also not a good practice.
Angela Nash joins us. We're coping with making your house more sellable. She says that this is a good time to buy and sell, but there are some things you need to do to help your house sell. Let's talk first about color, interior and exterior. I said in the opening, I'm sitting here in a house where every room is a different color. No lie. So, but like I said, girl, I know, and no nobody want this house but me, but I'm not trying to buy or sell. So what do people need to be more conscientious about as far as the interior and exterior of their homes as far as color is concerned?
Well, I will be the first to say I love a good moody room, and
Yeah,
and then I've got this bold wallpaper here. But again, I'm not selling my home.
right.
And I think it's the idea that you want to have your home look away where someone comes in and they can feel that that home can be made theirs, not that it's yours and they got to change it to be something that
Wow.
suits them.
Yeah.
When a person walks into a home, they want to feel like there's that first 5 minutes. Like people say, or what has been my experience, it was my personal experience, is when I walk in a home, I know within 5 to 10 minutes of just walking through if that home is for me. Some
Gotcha.
people take a little bit longer to make that decision. However, by the time you finish through the house, what really gets people drawn in is, does the house feel warm? Does it feel cozy? Does it smell nice? And colors are a big part of that. Does it feel when you walk in that it's sterile? No super, super white, even though that's a great trend. That's a trend you want to keep for yourself. But if you have some of the warm neutrals, some of the grays that are really, really nice, and they've come out some really great palettes that are in neutrals that are amazing, like a latte color, but something that feels warm, cool, that makes you, when you walk in, you go, wow, this just feels like I could see myself here. And
Yeah.
so part of like with my listing package, you get like I've already picked some colors out for you. You don't have to think too hard. They have the Sherwin-Williams numbers on there, and then you just go, you take them and say, here, I want this color, because I don't want anybody to be confused that, yeah, it really does matter. I have different colors in my home, but again, this is my home. I'm going to live here. But when I plan to move, will I change it? Yeah. Somebody's not going to see my big floral wallpaper size flower on my office wall or my gallery wall. They're not going to care about that. They want to be able to feel like it's their home.
Yeah. So let's go room by room, what
Okay.
people should be doing and more conscientious about. Let's start with the living room.
Yes. Okay. You got to think about living room is where you're going to be spending a lot of time. This is a very important space for many people. It's where your family gathers. You don't want to have too much oversized furniture. So sometimes it's going to be a little bit of either moving the furniture around, or even if it's like larger accent pieces, like maybe you have a larger end table, maybe take that larger end table out. You don't want your living space where everybody's going to congregate and entertain to feel crowded. That is what I would say there. Neutral colors, less pictures is more. I also like, if you have, this is a big one, I don't think people realize it, is that if you have certain art that may be weird for people, put it in the closet.
Right.
So I'll leave it at that.
I get you. Yeah, because again, because it's your taste, it may not be everyone else's taste, and people may get spooked out about it.
They do. They very much do. Yes.
Yeah. Now let's go to the dining room. What are some do's and don'ts for the dining room when you're trying to sell your home?
Dining room. It's this place of ambiance. It's where you're going to have dinner. It's where you're probably going to have special dinners, because a lot of people are using their dining rooms for that. So if you're using your dining room for eating, I would say minimalistic as possible with a nice centerpiece. And that is pretty much it. You don't want to have some crazy, your dining table filled with things. Less is more. If you have like a mirror to make sure your space feels bigger, don't have oversized art. Make sure your art is appropriate for the room, and maybe like a couple accessories, like one or two on your, like a nice centerpiece, nothing too crazy, nothing too sparkly. And then even sometimes it's helpful to change out like your fixtures over your dining table, make it more minimal, make it something that people can walk in and go, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Really large chandeliers and things of that nature, especially in our market. That's not something that's really big until you go into like a higher market. But even then, those homes, they don't necessarily want to see something that big. And most of the time people take it with them. So they don't put that in because they're expensive. So that's something to be mindful of.
And let's go to the kitchen. A lot of people now are congregating in the kitchen. And as you said, people are eating in the kitchen. That is a gathering space.
Yes. Clean off your counter. And this is also something that I tell people, clean off your counter, remove as many things as you possibly can, even those large appliances, things like that you can put away. You want a clean countertop. Maybe, spruce it up with like a little bit of a fruit bowl, something like that feels organic. But then here's the big thing, and I talk about this often. When people come in your home, two of the things that they do, they look in your fridge, they look in your oven. Oh, and they also check your filters. They look at your vents to see if your vents are clean. And if your oven is not clean, it matters more than you think. So it's not just on the outside, it's in the oven. If they see your oven is unclean, they automatically, and it's a psyche, think that, oh, this person doesn't take care of their home. I feel I should get $5,000 less off the price. Now, is that reality that they should be able to do that? No, but that is the mindset. And for a lot of people, they want to go in, and when you see that all of these things are organized and your counter's clean, there's just this feeling of, I could come in to this home. Sure, they're going to mess it up when they get there.
Yeah,
but
it's their mess.
Exactly. They want the illusion, the fantasy of what a clean kitchen looks like.
Wow. So take everything off the
Yes.
countertop, cookie jars, like you said, big appliances,
Mhm.
your blender, your toaster, all of that. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Angela Nash
And
joins
then
us.
just
She is
magnets, refrigerator magnets. That's the other
oh,
thing.
refrigerator magnets too. Now let me ask you this. Should people like I've got a my refrigerator works well, but it looks
Yeah.
ugly. And I do have pictures, all kind of
Yeah.
pictures, magnets, everything on it. But if I and I've had to and I'm in the market for a new refrigerator, but again,
Yeah.
it's not because it doesn't work well, it just
Right.
doesn't look cute. You know, the
Yeah.
white is fading. So if that's a situation, should they paint that? Because I painted mine once. Should they
Yes.
paint it or invest in another refrigerator if the
Here's
refrigerator doesn't
here's
look
what
good on the outside?
Here's what I always tell people. If you're planning to take it with you and it's not a negotiation tool, what I would say is look for a quick DIY. There are so many great DIYs about like painting your refrigerator. And I've
Yeah.
seen where people have done and taken like a silver refrigerator and made it like black with like gold handles. Don't
Yeah.
do this if you're not a professional or very, very good and have a steady hand. But there's some really, really great options. I always tell people you don't want to spend a ton of money. That's why it's always great to have a realtor come in and look
Right.
at your home before you start selling as well to make sure that you're not overdoing things. I've had sellers before they met me go and spend a ton of money
Wow.
on things that were not things that they needed to spend money on. It was more of like, oh, hey, we could change this, or oh, maybe that was just like a little touch up. But they will go and do a whole lot of things that may not have been the things that were going to bring in money or were going to be the things that caused issues.
Well, Angela, I think that's the biggest thing right there is
Mhm.
wait until you talk to a realtor or that a realtor comes into your home because you're the expert. You
Right.
know what's gonna make a difference and what's not gonna make the difference. And for buyers to just wait or sellers to just wait
Mhm.
until they meet with you as the realtor to see
Mhm.
exactly what do I need to do before you
Yes.
go spending a bunch of money on something that maybe it wasn't necessary at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Angela Nash is a realtor and decorator. She is joining us today as we're coping with how to make your home more sellable. I'm Tre Tailor. We've been talking about some of the things you have to do. We're going room by room and we're going to the bedrooms now. What do we
Yes.
need to do to make our bedrooms look good?
So I'll start with one of the things people ask me is when they're preparing to move is it okay to have stuff like in a room, like boxes? And I always tell people designate one room if you need to putting those boxes that you need because everybody and it needs to be a room that maybe people can tell the size of because it may be a size of another bedroom, so they don't need to know the size, but that's a
Right.
designated place and people are gracious about having a space where you have your boxes. So don't overfill it where you can't get the door open, but have a designated place for that. But bedrooms, I would say you want to make bedrooms. A lot of times there's like a lot of things on the counter. It's the same thing with your dining room and your kitchen. You want to like minimize as much as you can. Make sure your colors are more warm. And I've seen where you can go a little bit darker than some of the grays, and like you can go a little bit deeper on like the deeper latte colors, things of that nature to make your bedroom feel more warm. But also in your bathroom, put away all of your cosmetic things. If you have like a cute little cosmetic set, perfumes, things like that, but you don't want to overdo it. You don't want 85 of your best perfumes sitting on your counter. Don't
Right.
do that. And then I
Okay.
also think it's important to say, like, if you have any weapons, things like that, those are things that it matters. You don't always hear it, but it should be part of like your listing presentation if you're with a realtor, is making sure that you put all of your valuables away, locked in a safe, as well as your guns in a locked, like a gun safe that you can put things away in. So those are really big things. And then also like your bedding, I can show people the way to like fold their bedding to make it look more comfortable. Fluffy, having the duvet, making sure your pillows are really fluffed, really nice. And then if you have like chairs and seating, sometimes people have oversized sofas that they like to lounge in that may not be in the best shape. It's best to either remove those or cover them up with a cool blanket, like a throw, and then put some pillows in the areas that are not so great.
Gotcha. Now, what about family pictures? You mentioned something about pictures earlier. Do we leave our family pictures out or do we move them and take them away?
I always say you want it to look like those pictures in the frames that you get. You know what I
When you
mean?
buy a frame.
Exactly. When you buy a frame. So you want very few, but you want a few of those. Like don't have them your whole entire wall full of family photos, just a few here and there. So people can say, oh, wow, here's a sweet family living in this home. This looks like a great family home, but not like, oh my gosh, these people, how are they going to move? Their entire family is everywhere. Like they're
Wow.
going to have a
Yeah.
lot to take down. They're going to have a lot. There's going to be a lot of holes in this wall. That's the other thing people
That's
think about.
interesting. That's interesting that people would think that. So
Yes.
that's pictures on the wall. What about pictures on the countertop?
I like a few pictures on the countertop. I say like 2 in one area, maybe 3 in another. I like that grouping with maybe like a really nice scented candle, or at least like a votive that has like the casing is really nice. Even if you
Yeah.
don't light it, it may not be the best smelling one, but it looks nice. Something that looks like what I like to say, your lux for less. Like it doesn't have to be expensive to look luxurious, and you want it to
Right.
feel like home. That's the biggest thing. Is it's always when sometimes sellers forget when they go to buy what it's like to be a seller, or
Right.
and buyers vice versa. So when you go into the home, it's kind of like the golden rule. But how would you want the home to look when you walked in it? Would you want a ton of someone else's stuff there when you viewed it? Would you critique that? And if you would critique it in another home, you have to look at your own home and say, well, I got to fix this.
Yeah. One last question I want to ask. Now, should we be home or should we be gone when somebody comes to look at your house?
Trey, thank you for asking this. You should not be there. You should not be there.
Go somewhere else.
Go somewhere else. Go for a walk, whatever you have to do, but you should not be there. That person is coming to your home to envision themselves there. They don't need you in the background having a snack. We don't need that. Messing up the kitchen, messing up, telling them where things are. That's why they have a realtor. You want to maximize, and everybody now has cameras. So if you're going to watch from your camera. Do not be there. Do not be there.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. Angela Nash has been joining us. We are coping with how to make your home more sellable. She says it's a great market right now to buy and sell. And so if you just joined us, don't forget to rewind because she has given us some great tips. Last question, and you kind of mentioned this a little bit. What should we look for when we are purchasing a home? All of the things you said, right?
Wow. And it's an amazing thing. You should look for a realtor who's going to talk to you about what your needs are. They should be asking you more questions than giving you more answers.
Right.
They should be allowing you to tell them what you need. And because it's different for everybody when it comes to buying, and specifically in this market, when housing prices in 2019, our median home price was 175. It is now 225 to 250.
Wow.
That's 100,000. And so that's where we are in the market right now. So in that case, as affordability has changed. So if it's not affordable for you to do today, I know everybody says, hey, the American dream, even though Columbia is still in the top 5 places that is cheaper to buy than rent, it's still one of those things. If that's not your plan and you can't afford it, don't do it. You still want to be, I like to get people in homes where they can still enjoy their Amazon packages. So
Right.
That's a big thing. But you want to look for somebody who's mindful of that, and they're not trying to sell you. They're trying to help you and educate you along in the process of buying one of the biggest investments you will ever have in your life. The next thing I would say is make sure that you're looking for a good home inspector. And when you go in that home, go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Look for everything. Look at the filters. Are the filters clean? That's usually an indicator if you're going to have some issues, they may be minor, with your HVAC system.
Right.
So looking for things like that, looking for foundational issues. If you see any cracks in the foundation, make sure that you're asking your home inspector to take an extra look at that. They do typically a really, really great job, the ones I've worked with, but just make sure that say, hey, that's a concern for me. Piping. If you go and you see on the MLS listing, but look at the type of piping, because that matters, specifically if it's an older home. You don't want to have pipes bursting, and there are some pipes that are not even recommended. Also, probably this is a big one, the age of the roof. If you don't want to have your heart broken because you can't get insurance for a roof that is well past its age, is look at that roof, age, and it's going to be on your property disclosures. Pay very close attention to those, but look at that, because that's going to be going into it. Is that seller willing to negotiate on that roof? And are you willing to, if you can't get insurance on it, do what you need to do in order to do that, like get a new roof and then get insurance. So all of those, and if you're going to have a conventional or, a loan type situation, but Those are all things, because those things as a buyer going in, your education is really, really a lot of it up front, and having someone walk you through that, walking through the house, get the professionals who know. And that's what I'm saying. Your home inspectors, your HVAC inspectors, your chimney, your roof, if you need all those things, take those things into consideration, because the biggest liabilities are not going to be your cosmetic ones.
Right.
They're going to be the ones you can't see.
That's another thing you should think about. If you're coming from
For
an
sure.
apartment to a home, be thinking about who's going to help me maintain this.
Yes, that is a huge thing. And we try to, when we sit down with you, especially specifically first-time home buyers, is to go through and say, okay, well, here you need to lay out your budget. We're actually doing something now. It starts, I believe, the second week of May, called Homeschool. And it's run by my nephew who's on my team, but it's for your first-time home buyers. And
Right.
every week there's going to be a Facebook Live that you can join and ask questions.
That's awesome.
There's going to be a guest from, like, say, a credit person, financial person. And then we're going to go down week by week how to prepare, because a lot of people may not be ready today, but they're going to be ready, down the road, a year from now, 2 years from now.
And you need to start getting ready now.
Exactly. If you want to be somewhere next year, today is the best time to start. So having somebody walk you through that, and there is a transition from apartment condo to living in a home and all the expenses that you don't foresee coming. So I think I'm so glad that you said that, and that's such a very good point.
Yeah. Angela Nash has joined us today. We've been coping with how to make your home more sellable. Please hit rewind if you just joined us, because she has given some great tips. And of course, you can see her information on the screen. Don't forget to join her. She said she and her nephew are getting ready to launch Facebook Live. When does that launch, Angela?
It's May 15th. It's like it's the second week of May, and I need to make sure what day. If it's a Wednesday, it's going to be on Wednesday evenings. If it's a Wednesday or if it's a Thursday, because I can't remember what he said.
Right.
I will double check with him, but it's going to be called Homeschool. So, and he's the real estate gent. So if you'll get all the details. He's got like a little feature every week of like where he's at, new construction. It's called Real Estate Gent TV. So it's really cool.
It.
He's 23 and he's getting started now. And I think that's a wonderful thing. So
yeah. So keep your eyes open for the real estate gent. He can help you along with Angela. Angela, thank you so much for joining us today. These have been some so great tips, such great information. And again, if you want more information on Angela, she can help you, as she said, when you are purchasing a home and selling a home. You can see her information on the screen. Angela Nash, thank you so much for joining us today on Coping. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So listen, if you have a story or initiative that could help someone cope, please email booking@copingwithtretatailor.com. If you've got a product or service that could help someone cope, we would love for you to be one of our proud sponsors, just like In It Together SC, SCDHEC, also Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall, Palmetto Media Connections, Javis Financial Services, the Comet Bus System, the South Carolina State Fair, Black Pages Black Expo, and Agape Counseling and Training Services. Coming up next, your devotional on coping. I'm Tre Tailor. We'll be right back.
Computers, they're a part of our everyday lives. But when they're not working, they're an everyday problem. So call Computers Unique, your everyday solution. 803-351-5821. Is your computer running slow? Won't turn on? Do you need a screen replaced? Or maybe you just need another computer? Well, Computers Unique is your one-stop shop for all your computer needs. They have a wide variety of new and pre-owned PCs, Macs, and tablets. So call Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. 803-351-5821. 803-351-5821.
Hey there, and thank you so much for joining us on Coping. I'm Tre Tailor. We're giving you info and advice to help you thrive and survive in life, because we will always be coping with something. Today, our devotional, it is from Cheryl Mims Williams. It's Conversations with God. She is with Agape Counseling and Training Services in Columbia, South Carolina. This is such a great book. It includes some of her diary writings, devotionals, and just words of empowerment that we can use throughout the day. This one says, "My God, my child, if you are tired, you must recognize when you are, and when you need rest. You must take time to adhere to your body. Even my son needed rest. I rested as I created the world, not because I needed rest, but I wanted you to see the need. I know days are busy. I know you are tired. So rest, and rest your head on my chest. Rest on my shoulders. Rest." Isn't that so good? Women and men who are so busy doing whatever you got to be doing. I know all about the kids, the job, your baby mama, your baby daddy. All those folks need something, but you need something too. How many times do we forget to rest and then we end up being tired and cranky? God says, even He rested, even His Son rested, and you deserve rest too. Rest on Him. He's always there for you because we will always be coping with something, but we don't have to do it alone. I'm Tre Tailor. Thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Coping, find peace of mind to survive through whatever. Coping, learning the way that we thrive all together. Coping, finding out what's real. Coping, we can heal, we can heal, we can heal. Coping with stress, coping with strife, bringing hope for success, for improving our life. Coping beyond hoping to do more than survive, ways to live a healthy life. Coping and promoting, learning what you can do, 6 ways to a better you. Coping, find peace of mind